W tuberistas. So let's take up the question. What the hell is capitalism? Seems to be like pornography, hard to define, but you know it when you see it. But let's try, based not on pseudo-theology, but on the concrete behavior of capital accumulation and those who accumulate it. First, there is no way to attach a neat, simple, all-inclusive meaning to a phenomenon as large and immutable as capitalism. In the last 300 years, it's worn many faces and forms. The words we associate with it are clues to its liquid nature: private property, business, laissez-faire, profit, self-interest, free enterprise, the free market, entrepreneurship. For Adam Smith, it was an economic system loosened from the shackles of feudalism, a so-called natural liberty to make, buy, and sell things. For Karl Marx, it was a social order based on class tyranny, in which a few owned the means of capital-generating reproduction, and the many sold their labor to stay alive. Marx, however, did agree with Smith that inasmuch as capitalism broke the fetters of feudalism, it was therefore progressive, which is why he said, "I am for free trade," in the sense that its development will result in the revolution that overthrows it and supersedes it. For the German sociologist Max Weber, capitalism was a spirit that emphasized hard work, accumulation, and economic rationality. There are many types of capitalists, as there are forms of capitalism. A Jewish peddler with his backpack wandering over the Danube basin, Henry Ford assembling his manufacturing complex on the River Rouge in Michigan, a Wall Street broker selling derivatives online, a farmer buying more land, a Russian mafiosi trading in contraband. Capitalism is thus a complex economic culture. It is the mode of production and distribution that constantly evolves, varying from place to place, from one era to the next. It's compatible with many political forms, accommodating itself to the British monarchy, the Democratic Republic of the United States, the Communist Party of China. But it maintains a recognizable identity all the same. A core of values and assumptions more basic, more fundamental, more permanent than these outer forms, which correspond to superstructure in Marxist terms, and can be adjusted accordingly, like a suit of clothes grown too big or too tight or too out of fashion. The body within maintains its continuity. We can sum up the nature of capitalism in three basic laws. 1. Everything is a resource for capital formation, that is, something to be used to turn a profit. Most importantly are natural resources like land and minerals, and labor, specifically the labor power of those living on or near the resources, which can extract them, reshape them, and transform them into a marketable commodity. Number 2, man has the right, even the duty, to turn the accumulated profits from these resources and labor into capital, and to use this capital for constant self-advancement. Therefore, it must always get more out of its resources and labor than it did yesterday, and as quickly as it can. Capitalism maximizes the use of both, in volume and time, more intensely than any economic form that preceded it. The highest economic growth, and thus reward, should go to those who have extracted as much from nature and labor as it can yield. Private acquisition and accumulation are and should be unlimited, impossible to satisfy as the engine of growth. Number 3, the social order should permit and must encourage this continual unending increase of personal wealth. It should free individuals and corporations as collective individuals from restrictions on the aggressive use of resources and labor, from restraint on accumulation, and protect those who have from losing what they have for the good of society. As much as possible, the individual self as an economic entity is above all other considerations, the all-important center of life, free, unrestrained, and responsible to no one or nothing beyond what his free will chooses to concede. From these essentials, we see that a capitalist-based society has a greater resource hunger than other forms, greater eagerness to take risks, or put others in society at risk, and less capacity for restraint. But, Azov, what about socialist economies that existed until very recently, like European communism, the Soviet Union? Their 5-year plan system ruthlessly exploited nature and man alike and admitted to no restraint in maximizing their reach, even without private profit. Except that in said form of production, there was no internal competition, no wasteful replication in the extraction and use of resources, with several producers trying to outproduce and corner their competition by distributing the same goods. The diversity and choice of capitalism leads to waste of both resources and labor, and duplication and redundancy when there is too much product to use. The too muchness of capitalism, its sweeping reach, is precisely what distinguishes it from other forms. This is taken by its partisans and defenders as proof of its success. But it's the genetic flaw in the system that will ultimately bring it down, is bringing it down now, and can take all of us with it if we don't wise up to its costs. But that's the subject of another video. Man, who's this now? Hello? John D. Rockefeller, the great American capitalist? Wow, my number must be all over the shithouse walls of beyond. You want to weigh in on this because you once said as a good Baptist, God gave me my money. Well, how's that? Because it says so in the Bible. Book of Mark, chapter 4, verse 25. For he that has shall be given, and he that has not, from him shall be taken away even that which he has. So capitalism is just the working out of God's will on earth. So children going to bed hungry is God's will. Enslaving other humans to work on plantations or labor camps is also the way of the Lord. Some religious folks disagree, and that's why you'll find a lot of capitalists who are completely secular, even atheists. They resent any outside power coming along and telling them what to do with their wealth, meddling leftist do-gooders like Jesus, preaching don't lay up a stash of stuff here on earth, but sell whatever you have and give it to the poor. Then you'll be Big Daddy's boy on the right track. So you see, capitalism will turn its coat inside out as long as it can make a dollar stripping yours off your back and selling it back at you. On Wall Street, the golden calf is a full-grown bull. But let's hope more and more of us stop worshiping his shit.